is going on, FA Nation? John and Pemba here with Howard Bender. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Game Day Playbook Preview Show. Today we're looking at the Tuesday 10-game main slate. Howard, my friend, it's been a little bit since you and I have done a preview show here together. It's been me and Grande for the last week. We've had me and Henry on the live stream as well. How you doing, my sir?
I'm doing very well. Well, this is what happens when you move the live stream to 5 p.m. Eastern, and it's an hour before the Sirius XM show starts. So, you know, it is what it is. But we thank everybody for tuning in right here into the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. It's a nice little free way to tell us that you appreciate what we bring to the table here. So let's get to it, man. Big slate here, 10 games. Good pitching on the mound here. It starts off Houck against the Blue Jays. Logan Webb against the Cubbies. Framber Valdez taking on the Chicago White Sox seems to be a nice, intriguing one. And you know what? In all honesty, I don't hate Pablo Lopez against the Tampa Bay Rays.
I was going to say, I agree with you. Houck obviously has been awesome this year. Last start was okay against Philadelphia, but overall, more than likely on his way to the All-Star game as a representative for the Red Sox. $10,300 though against a team in Toronto that doesn't really strike out. That's my fear about paying up for those 10K guys in spots where maybe they're not going to have a strikeout ceiling. Webb, I'm fine with. Again, gets a lot of ground balls. $9,700. Framber versus the White Sox. With the White Sox right now, they've been hitting a lot of home runs. What's your take on that right now? They got Tommy Pham back. Lewis Roberts been homering. Andrew Vaughn's been on fire now for over a week. Do you think Framber is just better than that lineup right now, or would you be hesitant given the kind of their current run right now?
No, I mean I do feel that Framber is better. Framber has these blow up motion, times where it gets a little crazy, but the White Sox, they've been okay. I mean, they did all right against the Diamondbacks pitching, recently, but right. I mean, that wasn't we're not looking at any high-end starters. I think the best starter that they saw was Jordan Montgomery, who still held them scoreless for almost a full 5 innings.
Yep.
They went up against the Mariners for a 4-game set. They lost 3 out of those 4, and they didn't score very many runs. So while, the White Sox have been hitting for a little bit more power right now, I'm not really overly impressed with their lineup still. And you look at a guy like Framber Valdez, who kind of needs to, I'm not going to say right the ship, but obviously in recent starts, Valdez has had some serious issues. In giving up some runs, right? With the last start against the Giants. He got housed by the Angels. We know they hit left-handed pitching well, but 3 solid starts here. Again, the Angels, Minnesota, and Seattle. So I actually don't mind it with Framber, and I'm sure that the White Sox, as far as their strikeout rate goes, was 24% against lefties. I'm okay with that.
Yep, I agree with you. I also agree with your comment there on Pablo Lopez. You want to talk about a guy that we're waiting to sort of get back on track here. Lopez overall numbers certainly don't look great, but go look a little bit deeper into some of his sabermetric stats there. His 5.33 ERA matched up with a 3.28 expected ERA, a 3.35 xFIP there. So again, a guy that's getting really unlucky. His SIERA is 3.28, which is your skill interactive ERA. It's basically what the pitcher can control and the quality of balls put in play against Pablo Lopez here. He's been getting pretty unlucky with the home run ball, but a 9.95 K per 9, just at 2 walks per 9. And then you go look at his matchup here. Tampa Bay Rays, 26.6% strikeout rate over the last 2 weeks against right-handed pitching. They ranked 27th in weighted on base. Batting average against right-handed pitching, 29th over the last 2 weeks. So if there was ever a spot for Pablo Lopez, the baseball gods to look down on him and say, okay, you've been through enough, this should be the spot here at $9,000.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. All of those statements. Looking below 9,000. I like Nestor Cortez. I think he's got some good strikeout upside here. The Orioles have been fanning a lot more lately, especially against left-handed pitching. So I don't hate that matchup there. I want nothing to do with Chris Bassett. I want nothing to do with Luis Severino. I'm intrigued by Justin Steele, although with Logan Webb on the mound opposite him, I worry about the fact that, maybe we don't have as much win equity built in.
Yeah, that's probably a fair point. Overall, the middle of the pack for the Giants against left-handed pitching, but we know, the ceiling that Steele could bring to the table there. Yeah, definitely not in on Bassett. I really don't love a ton of this 8K range, honestly. I think Alec Marsh could be a guy I go to next, going up against Oakland. I know Chris Paddock, just got hammered by them the other day, but Marsh, the strikeout rate is really starting to come up on him. Just shut out the Yankees. He one hit New York. I'm sure the odds makers won a lot of money that day in Vegas on Alec Marsh against the New York Yankees there. $7,600 against Oakland in Oakland here. Give me some Marsh in the mid-tier.
Marsh in the mid-tier is definitely a good spot there as well. You know what? On the other side of that game, Hogan Harris, not terrible at all. Royals do hit left-handed pitching a little bit better, but we got to take a look and see what's going on. Like, I know Sal Perez has been banged up and he's missed some time. And just the rest of that lineup is kind of a big strikeout lineup, which has been a little on the funny side, right? Nelson Velasquez whiffs. A lot of the bottom end of that lineup does as well. So Harris, maybe not a terrible call there opposite, but I'm with you. I like Marsh going up against Oakland a little bit better.
Yeah, this is also just kind of a slate where there isn't a lot of value. I mean, Walker Buehler's been pretty bad in cores. I mean, I don't really want to take the the test here. I believe in what the upside can be for Walker Buehler, but we just haven't seen that out of him yet. You're not going to go Griffin Canning against Milwaukee. I don't know. Would you look at Tobias Myers on the other side of that? Two really good starts out of him in his last two. Now he's got the Angels on the road. $6,500.
Yeah, I actually don't mind that with Myers, because you also get some good strikeout numbers from him as well. You get like 4 or 5 Ks on average, and then if it's a team that's whiffing even more, he could go a little bit better there. So, I mean, listen, if you're going to pay all the way down, for that, I'd probably pay down from Myers a little bit more, just knowing that the Angels, obviously getting better against righties than lefties.
Yep, 100%.
I mean, Angels are better against lefties than righties.
Right, exactly. And they Luis Rengifo actually got hurt on Sunday, so we'll have to even see if he's going to be in the lineup, for the Angels here for this series. Could just take out a big bat from them. We move on over to catcher here. We generally look just for the cheapest option, but you do have Will Smith in core, so Dodgers stacking against Austin Gomber is going to be popular. Will Smith is one of the highest projected roster players for the Monday slate. Again, Dodgers in cores are all crazy expensive. So if you want to spend up, that certainly makes some sense here. But we do like the mid-tier. Yainier Diaz at 3,900 against Cannon. For me, I think I could find myself getting to. What else are you looking at here?
I like Logan O'Hoppe against Tobias Myers. If we're not going to use Myers, I think O'Hoppe's been doing well. I think he's got like a 360 something weighted on base average against right-handed pitching.
Okay.
And he's hit really, really well. I think he's hit safely in 6 of his last 7 games. So he looks pretty good there. So if you want to kind of spend upwards, then you could do that. Gary Sanchez against Griffin Canning, though. Like, Canning against this Milwaukee lineup could be trouble brewing here. So, if you're looking for just like, give me a cheap home run.
Yeah.
Then Sanchez probably, in a really nice spot.
We look at the Mets often and we consider them obviously a really good team against left-handed pitching. But Michael Lorenzen this year, dreadful against righties. He is a complete reverse splits pitcher this season against right-handed hitters. Lorenzen, 570 slug around, 415 WOBA allowed, 314 batting average, 2.3 homers per 9 to right-handed pitching. Conversely, against lefties, Howard, lefties are hitting 100 on the year. Over a large sample size, they are 11 for 127 against Michael Lorenzen this year. So you got the Mets here, a lot of their power guys from the right side of the plate. Francisco Alvarez there at $3,300. I know he hasn't been great since coming back from the IL, but if there was ever a spot to get Alvarez in your lineup at $3,300, hoping for that home run, I think it could be there against Michael Lorenzen down there in the mid-tier. And then, of course, we'll come back here live 5 p.m. Eastern time now, everybody. We'll have the official lineups out. We'll see what kind of value catchers are going to be available on this slate for us to kind of duck down and plug in if we really want to get cheap, because, again, these Dodgers are going to be pretty expensive here. Were there any other catchers you want to call out before moving on, Howard?
Just Jake Rogers, if you're looking for just the cheap home run stuff, going up against Spencer Schwellenbach from the Braves. He's just,
Sure.
Just kind of been getting a little roughed up lately. So, no, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I think we just need to kind of dive in and see where the best value is going to be had further down.
Okay. First base moves on over here. Ohtani is $6,900. He was $7,000 on the Monday slate, so we got $100 decrease. Still a lefty spot, but I'm not too really concerned there. Him and Freeman. Again, we don't need to be repetitive on this show, Howard. You can play the Dodgers in course. Okay, we don't need to explain why that's a good player.
Right.
But if we are going below, I do like Olsen. The Braves lineup starting to heat up. Casey Mize there, 53. And then I just mentioned all the numbers for Lorenzen against righties. Pete Alonso, I know we use him a lot against lefties here, but $4,800 could really be in his bag right now with the power in this matchup.
Yeah, I think Olsen's in a great spot. Olsen's hitting like over 400 over the last 2 weeks. I think I traded him in season-long fantasy, and he's just been tearing it up ever since then. I like that. Mountcastle against Cortez could be interesting if you want to fade the Yankees starter there. I think that's a pretty good spot for him. And then, kind of further down, I mean, I don't want to like harp on, Tigers here against Schwellenbach, but, Canna looks like he's been pretty good. But I'm probably looking like further down here. I'd rather look at like Nathaniel Lowe going up against Luis Severino. I think that's a pretty good spot to take a look at.
Yeah, I like that. Carlos Santana versus Savale, 3,800. It's fine for me as well. I mentioned if you're not playing your Framber, Andrew Vaughn's just been on fire. 349 with 1,000 OPS over his last 10 with 4 homers. So, again, the White Sox lately, their numbers against left-handed pitchers have been pretty good overall, even with the power numbers there. So $3,600 punt play there.
John Singleton against Jonathan Cannon, I think, is a great spot here. The Astros just dumped Jose Abreu and are eating $30 million just to get rid of him, which just locks Singleton as the lefty bat there at first base. So I kind of think that 3,100, if you are paying down, you could probably do yourself like a nice little Astro stack here and save some money using guys like Singleton in order to get like a Yordan Alvarez or a Jose Altuve into your lineup.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then the only other guy I'll mention, just because we do this from Chris Bassett's on the slate, Bassett versus lefties, still just really can't get him out. They're hitting almost 300 against them, near 400 WOBA, homers per 9 at 1.6. So Dom Smith is down there at $2,800, 286 average, 857 OPS over his last 10 games. The Red Sox lineup is loaded with lefties. So this could be a tough day for Chris Bassett here. And if you're going to try to fit in a Jarren Duran or a Rafael Devers, Dom Smith at 2,800 hits in the middle of that lineup could be a piece that you just plug in as part of your game stacks here today. Moving on over to second base, you got Albies, Altuve, and Semien up at the top. Spot you're looking to spend up for, Howard?
I mean, again, like if you want to work that Astros stack in there, like I just said, Altuve's in a great spot. I mean, perfectly fine using Albies or Semien. Mize hasn't been all that great. Severino has been spotty. So I think either one of those guys is a perfectly fine place to go. I'll look at Terang against Griffin Canning.
Sure.
I think that's a good spot here. Davis Schneider. Not Davis Schneider. Well, who's I thinking of? No. I was thinking the other way there. Who's the Boston guy? Was it David Hamilton? He's at
David
short.
Hamilton. Yeah.
He's at short, not at second. My bad on that.
You might get Emmanuel Valdez here, right here, $3,400, 300 average, 1,000 OPS over his last 10. Again, another lefty bat that's going to be in the lineup here against Chris Bassett. You can definitely go there. I'll also throw one other guy out to you. Now he's priced up because it's Coors, but Miguel Rojas is going to get some extra at bats here now. Already was playing relatively consistent for them against left-handed pitching this year. 167 ISO. He's hitting almost 280 against lefties. 3 homers on the year. All 3 of his homers rather against left-handed pitching. So if you were taking a look at Miguel Rojas, maybe you get a look at him. Actually, I just refreshed. It's 204 ISO against left-handed pitching this season for Miguel Rojas. You got him in cores against Gomber. Not sexy, but could be part of a stack there.
Yeah, not sexy, but definitely could be part of a stack. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to kind of pay down 4,000 for Miguel Rojas, just seems I just don't know if I could do that. But
bump.
I don't know. I mean, maybe
that's probably it for me down here, though. I don't got much else.
Yeah, there's not a lot sitting there that intrigues me all that much.
Yeah, Valdez would be the cheapest, I think, for me.
Probably have to spend up here. Yeah.
Third base is kind of interesting now. You have Royce Lewis, who has 7 homers in 12 games this year. Man homered on both ends of the doubleheader against Oakland. So on fire. You got Rafael Devers in that matchup against Bassett. We talked lefty numbers here. Don't need to go more into that. And then you have Austin Riley, who has woken up with the Braves. 3 straight games at homers here, going up against Casey Mize. Yeah, I have a favorite of the trio, I guess.
I mean, it's Devers. I'll take the guy who's in that lefty righty matchup, who's sitting there, against a pitcher who struggles against lefties, and it's like, just great power for Rafael Devers. I mean, yes, it's a loaded up lineup here, and I think a Red Sox stack against Bassett should be very interesting to see if how Bassett matches up here against the Red Sox. I'll have to ask Jim Bowden about that one. He'll do that. But right now my lean is Devers here.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind that. Even below him, again, small sample size, didn't mean to exclude Ryan McMahon. Obviously he's struggled a little bit and actually hasn't been that great at home, but Walker Buehler in his 7 starts again, lefties are hitting 366 with a 600 slug and a 430 WOBA. 2.3 homers per 9 allowed by Walker Buehler to lefties. So if you wanted a guy to come back in your Rockies Dodgers game stack there, I think McMahon or Nolan Jones will get to in the outfield would probably be one of the two that I would consider there. After that, we go down to the mid tier. Howard, which ones are on your radar?
I don't know. When was the last time Morel hit a home run?
The other day.
Oh, shit. You can get Bregman in here as part of your stack. That's definitely worthwhile to take a look at here.
Yeah.
Vierling going up against, Schwellenbach, if you want to look at the Tigers there. Joey Ortiz. I love Joey Ortiz, even against the right-hander and Griffin Canning. So I think that's a good spot to go. And you said you were talking about Lorenzen with his splits against righties. If you are going to stack some Mets in there and you're going to want to use some of those right-handed power bats against them, Vientos is definitely a spot to look at.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you can go there. Let's see. What else do we have? Anything further down?
Dude, Urshela has been hitting the ball so well. It's crazy that he's sitting at 3,200. I think that Urshela, I'm looking at his game log right now, 0 for 2 of his last 3, but you look at before that, and it's like a 2-hit game, 3-hit game, 2-hit game.
He had 3 walks in that 0 for 1. So like so
the on-base work is tasty. Yeah, I mean, I just think that, he's a veteran. You're not going to get great power out of him. Right. But if you need to spend down, 3,200 for your third baseman, not terrible.
No, I like that. Nothing else further down here. Again, we'll get some official lineups and we'll be able to make some more decisions if anybody else pops. Let's move on to shortstop because
I will say just keep an eye on Casey Schmidt. Even though I love Justin Steele, Casey Schmidt is just a cheap power bat.
Yeah, agreed. Shortstop, again, loaded with talent up top. Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson, both there. Now Gunnar is lefty. If that matters or not, usually it doesn't. Seager and Severino, 5,300. Tovar there, so not terrible. Lindor's going to hit from the left side, or let me get your take on this first, Howard, before I talk about that. Lindor is a switch hitter.
Mm-hmm.
If teams are paying attention to the numbers, wouldn't you tell Lindor to go up there as a righty against Lorenzen? If Lorenzen's only allowing a 100 batting average to left-handed hitters, wouldn't you tell him, hey, Francisco, maybe not today. You just go up there from the right side. Or do you think he just has to go up and hit lefty?
I feel like he's just going to go up and he's going to hit left. I'd love to see him hit from the right side, but this dude against right-handed pitching so far this year has just been terrible. You're talking about a 217 batting average, right? Against right-handed pitching with only a 300 WOBA. And, so it's a tough split But it would, if the Mets are looking at the metrics properly, then then they would actually do that.
I just always am curious on that when you have these reverse splits pitchers and switch hitters who they just go to the side that they're that they're going to get dominant. He just faced Ohtani and Freeman and like didn't give up anything against them. Like I don't know. Like
He's taken one at bat as a righty versus a right-handed pitcher. One at bat this season.
I wonder if it was Waldron, because usually switch hitters just
it's possible there.
Get right side against knuckleballers. Anyway, so my rant over there. I don't think you can really go wrong with much of this top half. Correa has been on fire lately. Volpe versus Suarez. Maybe everything but Adames just because he's not at home. I would play.
That's I'm fine with that. But again, I'm paying down towards Hamilton against Bassett. He's only 4K. I'll use him with the way he's been playing. I'll use him over any of these like mid 4K guys.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. Again, this guy sold 70 bags.
Go ahead, man. Flex your Red Sox. That's cool. You should.
They just took a series from the Yankees. We're riding high. Yeah. David Hamilton for sure. Again, I never expected any of this power. I knew the speed was legit. Stole 4 bags last night. So anybody that's live to steal 4, and I don't know what the Kirk, Jansen, Bassett, pitcher combo is for stolen bases allowed, but if this guy gets on, he's looking to run, get the lefty spots. I'm good there for sure. Let's see, going down more. De Jong 3,200, but his numbers are actually better against righties. He's just selling out for homers.
Sure. There's nothing really further down the list here. Again, to really look at.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Nothing.
All right, let's go to outfield then. Outfield has Ohtani, as we talked about earlier. Judge and Soto, green light specials there against Suarez in Yankee Stadium. So, how do you break down these top priced outfielders for us?
I mean, again, you just if you're gonna stack some Dodgers, you're gonna get Ohtani in there. Teoscar at 6K is. It's pricey, but it's still the way to go. Again, Yelich against Griffin Canning, I think, is a great spot that we can look at. Yordan Alvarez against Cannon is a nice spot if we wanted to stack there. I think we're also looking at Jarren Duran. So
yes,
I mean, I don't really, it's kind of funny based on what we're talking about as far as who we like for pitching. And where we're seeing some value and not seeing other value. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to go Judge or Soto here and just, save a couple of bucks.
Yeah, there aren't many lefties in the Houston lineup, obviously with Tucker out, but Cannon is another one. 5 starts this year against left-handed hitting, 680 slugger allowed, 460 WOBA, 2.6 homers per 9 to lefties. So if you wanted to one off Yordan Alvarez, I'm trying to think what other lefties are even in that lineup? Do they have Singleton, right? Singleton's the other one, right? So you could get a little 2-man or at least a one-off Yordan. We definitely like Boston's we've talked about. I don't mind Nolan Jones at 5K there. Going down into the mid-tier, let's see. Cortez has pitched really well at home, so generally I wouldn't mind Santander versus a lefty, but I don't know if this is the spot for that. I like Marsh too much. Kind of bleak. Tommy Pham maybe. Soler versus a lefty in Chicago.
Soler against the lefty I would use. He just powered up the other day really nicely.
Yeah. I keep thinking if I want to pull the trigger. I'm in a roto league where I need some home runs. But he has his numbers aren't great, but he's capable of just going on runs of homers. He's a super powerful dude. If we got to check the weather report for this one, if we got some wind blowing out in Chicago, I'll take Soler at 44.
Sure. Pages in Colorado is perfectly fine.
Agreed.
Verdugo continues to crush the ball. I like that a lot.
Yeah, Ramos or Steele 43.
Mm-hmm. Although I like Steele, so
true. Again, righties versus Lorenzen. You got JD Martinez and Starling Marte both right there.
Sure.
Both hitting the ball really well. So if you want to get a little Met stack going, let's see.
Yeah, then further down the list, it gets a little, we're getting a little on the dicey
Yeah,
side.
it's nothing special down here.
Like when you all of a sudden you're like, Joe Adele and
You
Luis
did mention
Barker.
Nelson Velasquez, so there's 3,600.
Sure.
Jolks versus the lefty is not terrible at 35.
You probably see Frelick in the lineup here against
Yep.
Canning.
Agreed.
I definitely don't mind that at 3,500, even if you just want to use it as a one-off.
Sure. Perkins is down here at 34 as well. Wyatt Langford's pretty cheap against Severino. If they put in Jake Cave, Kave, however you pronounce it there, I wanted 9 start there at 32. And then Kelnick, as we talked about, he's been leading off $3,200. It's a pretty good value play right there.
Yeah, until Mize's rising fastball gets him like swinging and missing on the regular.
Well, let's ride the hot Atlanta Braves at least for now. Because I don't really see a ton else. Austin Hayes has a really good history against lefties, but again, Cortez in Yankee Stadium has pitched really well. Pico Armstrong's back up. He has 5 stolen bases over the last week, but again, Logan Webb probably not a spot to play him.
Yeah,
that's it. That's probably it. Till we get the official lineups again. We'll be back live at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Myself and Henry Wilson, I think, are on the show. So be on the lookout for all the official lineups. We'll rebuild some lineups, but let's give our first look lineup here, Howard. What do you want to do for pitching today?
Well, I think we're both kind of in conjunction here on Pablo Lopez.
Yep.
I think we're both kind of riding that one for 9K. And then I would say
Marsh.
Yeah, I would say I would probably go with Marsh as the next guy.
Marsh or Myers if you had to pick one. Way down for value or mid-tier?
Let's take the mid-tier.
Okay.
Let's take the mid-tier because I'll tell you what, you can sit there and you can squeeze in. You ready for this one here?
Yep.
Because I don't hate this at all. We'll figure out catcher, but put Singleton at first and then get Yordan Alvarez in there. Okay. And then let's 3-stack the Red Sox lefties, right? Let's get Duran, Devers, and Hamilton in there. And it's pricey, but it's $3,400 for a catcher, a second baseman, and an outfielder. And if we pay down at catcher,
where's Duran? Why am I missing him? There he is, 52. Okay, 34.
If we pay down at catcher, maybe we can we can squeeze something out there. It's a little on the cheaper side.
What if we do this here? And then Valdez is 34. That gives us a 4-stack Boston lefties. 4-stack Boston lefties.
Who'd you get in there?
Emmanuel Valdez.
Oh, yeah. You can.
And I put Francisco Alvarez, get our righty versus Lorenzen at catcher. That gives us a $3,500 outfielder.
I like it.
Which, I mean, if they play Bader, Bader's been really good. Another righty could get in there, a little Bader Alvarez stack.
Sure.
There you go. Little example lineup for everybody.
That's not bad, man. That's not bad at all.
No, I agree. And we fade cores, so you're going to fade some of the chalk. Monday, all the Dodgers were chalky, but I mean, they're also super expensive. We're spending up, and if we wanted to save more money, we could drop down from Marsh and get a guy in there. But Lopez, Marsh, Alvarez, Singletary, Valdez, Devers, Hamilton, Alvarez, Duran, and Bader. We're attacking this lefty-righty matchup in Boston. We're going after the lefties against Cannon, and we're going after the righties against Lorenzen here. Example lineup for everybody. Again, we'll be back live 5 p.m. Eastern time, so make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button so you get notified. Come join us then. Until then, everybody, we'll catch you all later.